Hi, this is Alyssa Borelli, Senior Editor for Commercial Integrator. If you work with DVLED technology, you know the choices keep growing, the terminology keeps changing, and the stakes are high when it's time to specify the right solution. So today we're digging into what matters most, from pixel packaging and coding options to what's new from SNA Displays at InfoComm and in the field. The conversation is part of Commercial Integrator's DVLED Deep Dive Report and our May-June edition, and it'll also be featured online. Joining me is Paul England, Senior Director of Design Solutions from SNA Displays. Paul, so great to have you here today.
Thanks, Alyssa. We appreciate the opportunity to speak to Commercial Integrator and your audience.
Let's jump right into it. There are a lot of DVLED pixel packaging and coding options out there now, from SMD, GOB to COB, etc. The list can go on. And for a lot of buyers, marketing can make it hard to separate real-world value just from the buzzwords. When you're talking with integrators and technical teams, how do you help them think through the trade-offs and choose what fits their application best?
That's a terrific question. We get that all the time. Really, between SMD, chip on board, glue on board, all the various options, there is a wide variety of pixel grouping, and they all do something different. So I think one of the pitfalls we find is that some LED manufacturers want to say, oh, this is the magic bullet that does everything well. And the reality is that that's just not really what the case is. Certain things are very good at durability. Certain things are very good at brightness. Certain things are very good at color. And it's really figuring out what the best fit for the customer's application is, not simply this square peg fits every hole no matter what. And so it's important to have a variety of options. One of the things that we do a little differently at SNA is we make them all. So we make every one of those technologies and then some, so we can help you to figure out the right tool for the application. Quite frankly, there's a huge variety in pixel grouping out there, and the quality of pixels and the quality of everything. And so just briefly, SMD is still by far how most LED is still made. And I know it's a little bit of an older technology, but it still looks great. And in certain applications, it will be around for a long, long time. You're hearing a lot more about chip on board now. We do also make COB. It can be very good. In certain applications, it's outstanding. It's very durable, and it can be very good from a performance standpoint. Its real detractors are the boards aren't as repairable. Technically, they are repairable, but not practicably. So the spares you have are the spares you have. So for a long-term installation, it's sometimes not ideal. The other thing is they tend to be very shiny because of how the epoxy process works. So they tend, in a high glare environment or something with a lot of ambient light, that's not ideal either. Where something like an SMD can be very matte and very good. We actually have a brand new technology coming called MIP. We actually introduced it to the world at ISC back in 2024. And it's a brand new thing that it's a flip chip technology that basically has the subpixels from a chip on board type product into a flip chip. So it's repairable. It's very high performance. You can actually go down to a 0.4 pixel packaging, yeah. So that's going to be really probably the closest thing we have to a silver bullet when it comes to fixing all the things in all the pixel groupings.
So InfoComm is coming up in Las Vegas, and it's always a big moment for the industry to see what companies are really putting forward. What can attendees expect from SNA Displays this year, and what should integrators make sure they spend time with at your booth?
Oh yeah, so we don't always have a booth. We kind of wait until we have some splashy things before we put a booth out there. So we're pretty excited to have one this year. Speaking of that MIP technology, we'll have that in both a 0.7 and a 0.9. So come take a look at that and see how outstanding that is from a performance standpoint. We're going to have some of our clear product, the THRUMEDIA product, and a couple of different packages for that. So come and see that. And actually, something I'm personally really excited about is we have a new software package called QUASAR. We've been working on our sort of day two operations. That's everything from the configuration software to remote management and service software. The whole suite of things has been grown to the point we finally decided we needed to put a brand on it, and so we're calling that QUASAR. So come get a demo of that. That's going to be pretty amazing. Really, in addition to having industry-leading remote management and remote service options, it also has a wide variety of options for especially multi-deployment. So, in like shopping malls and things like that, like the American Dream Mall, there's over 300 displays that we manage in that mall. So being able to remotely manage and remotely push new firmware and things like that to a wide variety of displays, it's really a game changer. And the diagnostics are really unmatched and really unlike everybody else in the industry. That's included with our displays. There's not an additional monthly fee to be able to manage these displays remotely. And especially for some of our large clients that we have wide rollouts, it's a very impressive thing.
Beyond the trade show floor, a lot of our audience wants to know what's being deployed in the field. Are there any recent projects you're especially excited about that give a good sense of where the market is heading?
Sure. Yeah, that's a very fun question. We always have projects coming out. Probably some of the most exciting. We're right in the heart of baseball season. I'm here in Atlanta, and as a Braves fan, we did Truist Park for the Braves. A whole bunch of displays over there, not only in the stadium and in the other guest areas, but also in the Battery, which is sort of their fan engagement area that's adjacent to the stadium. We did pretty much all those displays in there. There's some really fantastic stuff over there. So again, as a shameless Braves fan, I think that's pretty awesome being right here. We're currently also about halfway through construction on what will be the most impressive display in Times Square. As you know, we did more than half of the displays in Times Square, about 2/3 of the displays in Times Square, but we have a new one coming up. I'm not sure I'm supposed to mention the customer. I think they want to be very splashy and put out their own PR. So let's say northwest corner, and you might be able to figure that out, but really monster display, really wrapping the entire building. I think that's going to be a real big piece of news when that finally launches here in a couple of months. So
we
lots
can't wait
more.
to see
Gosh,
it.
all sorts of
Read
stuff.
more
Yeah,
about it. Yeah.
excellent.
So before we wrap up, for integrators who are designing and deploying these solutions, what's one thing you think that they should be paying closer attention to right now?
That's another good question. I think we think of the LED display, we certainly do being the LED manufacturer, but we think of the LED display first, but you really can't forget all of the other things. So you really need to pay attention to the backend systems, everything from the playback systems to upstream video processing, the content. Oh gosh, that's a huge one. The time to think about content was yesterday, but the next best time is tomorrow. And the longer you wait on figuring out what your customer's content is, the less ideal your selections are when it comes to all of those upstream systems. Same thing from even things like interconnects. Going cheap on an interconnect, nobody wants their very expensive display to go down because of a $3 cable. So all of that makes sense. It all matters. It's all important. And I guess that's the biggest thing is plan, and plan to plan. And then on top of that, make sure that you're crossing the T's, dotting the I's, and making sure all the details matter.
Well, Paul, thanks again so much for your time today and for sharing your perspective.
Terrific. Thanks for having us. We're always happy to do this.
And thank you for watching. Be sure to check out Commercial Integrator's DVLED Deep Dive in the May-June edition and online for more coverage, insights, and expert conversations like this.
Thanks, Alyssa.